กินอะไรเข้าไปแล้วครับเนี่ย
แมว
ผมว่ามันต้อง
No.
ระวัง
No.
ต้อ
No.
งแล้ว
No.
Oh my god
No. No. No.
ครับมันกินอะไรอยู่ในท้องนะ
What
ครับ
is he
พวกนี้
trying to
แบบ
do
ว่ามันรู้ว่าไม่
That's
ปลอดภัย
what, yeah, like
He-
this wild
You look
animal
nice.
is clearly upset. I'm gonna screw with it some more. That'll help.
It's a great idea
I think he's a professional.
Oh, well,
questionable
he may be getting paid to do it, but if he's professional, I don't know.
No.
so it's okay
He got it.
is that like a freshly eaten something or like
Yeah.
a pregnant snake or like what is
No, it
happening
just ate. It ate something big.
what did it eat
I don't even know.
what else was in there
Maybe they should leave it
Welcome.
up there and take care of the pest problem.
Welcome to Brothers and Booze. I am here with my wonderful friends Lauren and Renee because our friend Doug had a medical issue. We wish him the best. We hope to see him next week. And I don't know if y'all have anything to say to Doug because I'm sure he's watching.
Oh yeah, tons of love to you, Doug. I hope you're back and better than ever for next week.
Amen.
recover fresh faced
Amen. Now back to the snake real quick. I don't really. I first of all, the language was different, so it's not from here. But he had like a he had like number or like lettering on his back, like he was from some kind of like he was from like a certain see like the
Oh
you
yeah,
see there.
okay.
Like
So
it
we have a
looks like
snake lady here.
so they called, I think,
กิน
and
อะไร
like
เข้าไปแล้วครับเนี่ย
yeah, look,
ผมว่ามันต้อง
I'd be pretty mad if I paid for this service and it resulted in my whole ceiling falling in,
and he's just
and
pulling
also the snake just going nuts for like 10 minutes.
Yup. Hey, Doug, what's up?
hello
Yeah, I had to slither that video in first.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of snakes. I mean, to each their
No.
own, but I would like them to be over there.
No.
So I'm like the only person who I have a pet.
You go.
Yeah, we have
Really?
a ball python named Santanico after Selma Hayek and from Dusk Till Dawn. Dancing with the
Yeah.
snake.
Was it as
You go.
large as that one? Is yours
No, ball pythons stay pretty small.
okay?
Like, I mean, it's not like a little snake. It's
Sure.
a big snake, but it's not that big. Like, it couldn't eat my cat.
That's a
That
good
could eat your
barometer for
cat.
like, can your pets eat each other? Let's make sure that they can't or don't, or like our
Right.
friends or something. Also,
Right.
as a side note, with that outfit that you mentioned, where like it looked like I don't know, like a company name logo thing, because it was all the same color. It's got a real like pit crew vibe,
Yeah.
but like for snakes, but also those like amateur snake pit crew.
Right. He just
Right.
opened this business yesterday.
Yes,
Right.
we got the jerseys, we got the uniforms, we're ready.
I would have been out when that snake started like snipping at. I wouldn't have been in that same room. So Renee, maybe you could have been in that room.
I don't
I
know
wouldn't
that I
have even been
could've.
in the room. That is just
Once they start like, so the reason we have a ball python, like there's like a lot of snakes you can have as pets that you can't like handle really because they're aggressive. They're territorial and aggressive, but ball pythons are like chill to like hang out. I don't want a snake that's gonna like. But if you
So-
got pulled through a drop ceiling, you'd be pissed off too. Like,
That is true.
Right.
They were cozy. They just ate. They were like having a food coma moment, and you disturbed their nap.
right. So what are you ladies drinking? Renee, I know that you are off on a trip right after this, so we will be wrapping up here probably a little over an hour, just so everybody knows. But because we got it's all great. But what is anything in your glass, Renee?
my delivery of caffeinated beverage has not arrived yet. It's going to happen off screen, hopefully quietly.
We'll check in later then. When I see you drinking, we'll check in later. Lauren, I know that you've you've grown as a beer drinker recently. You're trying all kinds of different things, so I'm excited to see what you got.
I have one that is in name, I think seasonally appropriate. I'm drinking ooh, ooh. Oh gosh, can we see what that? Death of the Sun from Drake's Brewery. I love that brewery. It is in the Bay Area, and it is a bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout.
Ooh.
And it's
starting
very
big.
delicious. I mean, we're only here for an hour. Go big or go home. Let's do this.
These are facts.
It is 12.5%, but it's delicious and smooth and multi-chocolatey things that I love. So I'm into it. Death of the Sun for the win.
I'm gonna have to get one of those when I get home tomorrow night and need to relax from my travels.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Because I hear I'm not even gonna try to get into it. What do they say about driving in Southern California? I mean, I'm not even trying to. I'm not even trying to say, but I got a Spanish Cedar High Lie from Cigar City. High Lie is one of the High Lie is a very famous IPA, especially on the East Coast, Florida, Cigar City. But this Spanish Cedar is really interesting because I believe I didn't read the label here, but I believe that they aged it in some wood was used to build the world's finest cigar humidors.
Ooh.
So they use some Spanish cedar, and it imparts a nice wood flavor for sure. But you still got that hoppiness. It's a little bit more malty than I was hoping it would be. I don't know. It says June. So it's a little old. But shit happens. This is what happens when I go to beer stores and I don't look at labels. We always do this, and I preach this all the time. And here I am, caught again. But it's pretty good. I can feel what it was trying to do, but it's a little malty and a lot of woodsy. And yeah, I don't know. May finish it. We'll see. I got something good coming up later, so we'll see. But anywho, it was funny because Doug went into the hospital late last week, and he was, or was it early this week? It was, and I love my man, but he was still trying to get on this stream until he got home. And then before he got released, he was like, "Oh man, I shouldn't be doing it." And I'm like, "Right," because me and him kind of went through the same thing. But Doug was in Iceland. So we didn't have a stream scheduled because Doug was in Iceland. So, and I was supposed to be in Pittsburgh, but what happened was I became ill and I had to go to the hospital. But Lauren remembers when I got out of the hospital, I was messaging Lauren like, "Lauren, let's go. Like, Doug's in Iceland.
Do a show real quick.
We can do a show real quick. We can get on in like 45 minutes." And Lauren's like, "Yes, man, it's cool. I love y'all. I'll jump on whenever y'all want." And I was all ready. And then it was like Friday afternoon. I was like, "Lauren, that was stupid." And so I even pushed it further than Doug even pushed it. So I don't know where Saturday night Doug went in. And Doug was trying to get on this stream. It was up until Tuesday or Wednesday, or it was up until Monday or Tuesday. And then Doug's like, "Nah, man, I should not." And I'm like, "Great," because I had already talked to Lauren and Renee on the side. And we were like, "Yeah, let's go." And I was like, "Let's just wait for Doug to make that decision." But I even told Renee, I was like, "You know what? I don't even have to send this man this link. I don't even have to send him the link." Right. So, like, we'll just figure it out. But I wanted Doug to come to that conclusion himself because him and I are partners in all this. And I just wanted to give him the respect to make sure that, he figured out what he wanted to do. And then we were going to proceed. But after that, we didn't really have anything to talk about because I was ready for the guest that Doug had booked. And I was, so we didn't have anything, but we got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about.
Oh,
tonight.
yeah.
Oh, man, it just came really quick and fast. We'll start with this wonderful piece I'm sure all y'all saw it. The woman caught breastfeeding with her hairless cat on Delta. Now, I sent y'all this. I don't know if y'all got the chance to go in there and look at it, but like she was trying to, she literally got on the plane with it swaddled like a baby. And then the cat started freaking out. I don't know if y'all know that.
I mean,
And
as
then when
cats do.
right. And then so she was trying to literally breastfeed, and the cat started freaking out. And then that's when the flight attendants jumped in and was like, "What the heck's going on?" So I don't know if y'all have any comments on this crazy ass story, but it was this one that crossed the board, and I was like, "We have to talk about this."
There's so many layers to this, but the part that upsets me the most is like I've owned cats for like 20 years. And so, through that, you have to make cats do things they don't want to do. Like you have to brush them or like give them medication or whatever. And so like, I know what a cat is like when you're trying to make it do something it doesn't want to do. And I don't want that anywhere near my breasts, like anything.
No.
Like that's too sensitive an area.
I didn't even think of that angle.
No, that's absolutely true. I have a cat, and I got it as an adult. It's my first like 4-legged fur pet creature. And I've had him for like 8 years. I don't know how to manhandle my cat. Like the struggle with medication is real. I'm like, I hope he swallowed that liquid. I don't know. But like put it in a like snuggly, blankety, like near vital organs feels like a bad choice. It is true. I mean, that's very true. Why would you want that? And I will also say the first thing that I thought of when I saw that was, is it Meet the Fockers?
Oh yeah.
Where like they're talking about like the cats. It's like can you milk me, Greg? Like I have nipples. And I was like the cats, and I was like, why do people want to do? What is happening?
Right. What is happening? And she had to do so. Like it wasn't just the plane. She had to walk through the whole airport. How did she get through customs?
Security.
What's going on? What is going on?
Right? You can travel.
Yeah, but
with
it has to be in an approved carrier. You can't be wrapped like a baby.
Right.
Like a baby
You
Bjorn
get
cat.
special permission to travel with a baby wrapped in a blanket on your lap. Like
right. So I don't remember that from the story whether she had a crate or not.
I feel like they must have, because I feel like there was something with the flight attendant being like asking her to put it
away.
Right. Right.
And she's like, no.
Right. Maybe she didn't have it. I don't know. That story just popped off to me as completely crazy.
I can't imagine doing that with any animal. Like no animal.
Right. But here's the thing that really is bothering me. The more we talk, I'm like, you can't make a cat do something it doesn't want to do. And I'm thinking about it. It's like the cat clearly didn't want to do it. Is this like I'm so worried. I'm like, did she just get on the plane and decide right then, this is the day I decide to try to breastfeed my cat?
Right.
Because the cat wasn't into it. It's not like a thing that they do.
Yeah.
Like,
right. That's the thing that concerns me.
There's so many layers. So many layers to this.
Did not.
Right. The cat did not.
That is not like, is that the time or place to be trying this? I don't know. It's
I can't even get back far enough to why did she want to, because of all of the things happening in the moment that perplex me.
So many questions.
So many questions. So level. I don't know if y'all want to, in the comments, y'all have any direction that we could go in with this story. Because I just don't get it. Away.
Here.
Correct.
Away. Pivot.
Correct. All right. We'll get away from that one. And we'll get away from that. We got a bunch of things that we need to talk about. So this motherfucker. Now, so envelopes full of cash and checks were found behind a loose toilet in the plumbing during repairs at a celebrity televangelist Lakewood, blah, blah, blah. So, Renee,
let me start before I even knew who Joel Osteen was. I worked at Borders, God rest its corporate soul.
Oh, yeah.
And I got moved. I was a stock person. I got moved to the section that had like religious books. And the first time I saw that man's face, I was like,
the vibe just didn't.
Yeah. I thought I heard my mom in the back of my head. She was like a latecomer to the Satanic Panics. It was like the mid-90s. And she'd always be concerned about the evil. Don't bring evil into the home. That's what I heard in my head when I saw it. When I go to put that, and I can't bring that evil into my home.
Right.
And nothing since then has like ever made me question if my gut reaction about Joel Osteen was correct. It's like he's
Always.
the worst.
hmm the biggest thing about this guy, remember, was the whole was it Katrina? Or no, or was it was one of these
The more
a big,
recent ones in Houston, yeah.
yeah, or oh, was it was it was the Houston when they had the hurricane, or I'm sorry, yeah, they had a hurricane, right?
Yeah.
And he wouldn't open his doors to the people, the for lack of a better word, refugees or people who were moved out of their home and all that. He wouldn't open the doors, and then he finally did after like 5 days or something. And that was
Yeah.
like not that I didn't know he was a scoundrel before then, but that was like, oh yeah, like now
Yeah, that's exactly
we
what
really
Jesus
got it.
would do, right?
Because that's what churches are. Excuse my language. Fucking there for. Like they're there
Yes.
for when we are downtrodden and we need. They're supposed to be community places that you should be able to walk into without any judgment and ask for help or be with other people or even congregate there as a community so that you can circle the wagons and get everybody together. Like churches to me that's what it should be. Any denomination, you should be able to walk into a church, have somebody greet you, and the respect needs to go both ways, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, you know what I mean, like churches, I see a church and I want to see a place that is welcoming, non-judgmental, and just will open up, but we know it's way more than that.
Well, especially
Right.
churches like his, because it's about money.
I mean, that's the whole.
Right,
That's
so then-
a whole another thing, right?
Right. So then
Right.
why is there money in a wall or something? And what's going on? Like there needs to be, again, I think, we have this little, not little, we have this big problem where I think we want to have churches be hands off, like, or we're hands off with churches, whether it be with taxes, whether it be with scrutiny for crimes and all that. And I just think that we need to, there's something wrong about that. Lauren, what's your comment on all this?
Okay, so there's like
right, loaded
a serious
question.
version, and then like the curious questioning Lauren version, and like the more serious part of me is going like so I would go. I'm like spiritual. There's like something. There's a thing, but like I have not attended churches growing up, so like it's like a whole nother realm that I'm not fully in.
Mm-hmm.
But also, what I do understand is like, I feel like none of them, but like, there's so many issues with like, they don't have to pay taxes because they're supposed to be helping communities. But are they helping communities? And how come they have so much money? And like that whole thing. Taxes. So like, I'm not in it, so I have less to say. I feel like I can't speak to it because I don't know enough to like say things. Renee does.
I was part of a church that I'm not going to name it because I consider it to be a cult, and saying that is going to piss a lot of people off. There's a lot of people in that church, but they hold over like $10 billion or $100 billion. I can't even remember. That's how much it is. It's like billions, and it's either 10 or $100 billion. And they have stocks, and they hold like ownership in corporations, and they're just like loading up money. And I know for a fact that depending on which particular congregation you're a part of, if you go and you ask for help, they're going to tell you no. And I know that they pressure members to pay their 10% of their income, even when they're like in poverty. If they're on food stamps, it doesn't matter. Why?
Why? Like, there's membership dues?
So a lot of churches expect you to like donate, and some just do like a standard called tithing, and some are like whatever you put in the collection plate, right? This church is you pay your tithe. You will have benefits of membership revoked if you don't pay it. And that's weird. Like, if you believe your soul hangs in the balance and your family's soul hangs in the balance, then you might pay it when you can't afford to pay it and feed your kids. And that happens. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, I've read stories that made my stomach turn, right? And my thing is like, I don't care. Like, there's no excuse for churches to be hoarding money. Like, obviously you want, if a church is important to its members in the community, you want it to have like some savings in case of emergency, operating costs, whatever. But like, there's no excuse for millions or billions to be hanging out.
Yeah, like you need to be getting money to be doing some stuff. Like, what are you doing
Right.
with the things? And apparently, with this particular story, they weren't doing anything because they shoved it in some wall. Something happened, and there's money in walls.
That makes
I
me
don't know.
wonder where that money came from or where it's going because it's already tax free. Why are you hiding it?
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
and like
he
there were checks, not just cash. Apparently,
he claimed that they were burgled from them. That's what they claimed.
Yeah. But so, and this is the other thing, prosperity gospel is something that really bothers me because I get into it. We do a whole show on this, Greg, and I'll try not to make it too crazy, but prosperity gospel is the idea that if you are faithful and you are good, you'll be rich, which sounds nice. But then you think about like, so are you saying that like poor people are bad?
right? Like you're
literally
doing
the
something
reason
wrong.
they are poor?
Correct.
Like that's
Correct.
fucked. And I don't think churches should be doing that
Right.
either. And I don't consider myself Christian anymore. So like Lauren, like I kind of don't want to wade in too deep, but like Jesus wasn't like a huge fan of people with a lot of money. Like I remember that from Bible study, you know, like
Right.
so
I remember
it's a really
it too.
weird perversion to say like prosperity
Right.
gospel. Yeah, like you do
Right.
what you're supposed to do and you're good and you love God and then you get to have as many Cadillacs as you want.
Right.
And that guy over there who's hungry, well, you don't have to help him because all he has to do is be a better person. He won't be hungry anymore.
Right.
That feels so gross to me.
Yeah.
And it is. And the weird thing about it is if this story applied to any of you, the cops, first of all, y'all wouldn't even be on the stream because y'all would be dealing with the cops. Y'all either be you'd be either dealing with them literally right now, or you be in jail, or you be, Renee's husband be trying to bail her out or something. Because
well, if you have that much money, you don't get help, right? Like they let you pay bail when you have that much money,
right?
That's
or
a different
whatever.
story altogether.
Right. So, I mean, I just hope that the law comes down on. I hope that the law not comes down. How about this? How about the law applies it fairly, and they're at least looking into them big time? Because to me, I feel money laundering. That's what I feel.
There's just no there's no great explanation.
Right?
I feel money laundering.
Like if it's in the space, it had like
and it was checks too.
Yeah, and it was like burglar. If they were robbed somehow, whatever, like it's in their space, which is why it got
it's
found
in the walls, literally in the walls.
Right.
Yeah, like where they were like, we're remodeling in our space, and it was there. So inside, whatever. But if I tangent for a second, like it apparently was behind, like in a bathroom, in like wall insulation loose. I was like, why? What? That feels like not the best place to hide money and cash. Like where? There's got to be a better place.
How much money do you have to have in the walls to forget that you have it in the bathroom before you send someone to tear the wall out?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, are you using it as insulation, like really fancy, luxurious money insulation?
Yeah.
This sounds like some Sopranos shit. It really does. It sounds like something out of like a show I was watching on HBO Max. Seriously. Like not even a joke. So I hope that we get to the bottom of this. I'm not holding my breath though. I'm just not. Like, you know what I mean? Like, right. It's right. Dirty money, literally. Right.
Maybe it's a bathroom, but like that, why would you? Yes, that. Because I was like, there are checks. Like, that's not.
There were checks.
Like, those would be damaged. Why would you?
Right.
And they're in multiple envelopes. Like, it just feels like sloppy.
I feel money laundering.
Greg, you're bringing a lot of perplexing issues to the show this evening.
We're going to have a lot
I think about it.
Yes, I am.
So we're open-ended chaos at the end of this.
So let's go different. Let's go a totally different way here. Let's go totally different. Right. What I love about this stream is that Doug and I go from really, really serious to goofy shit to serious to goofy shit. So let's go to Lauren. Let's go to you, Lauren. Usually when we have guests, Doug and I try to hit what the guest does and everything that they do, because that's part of what we want to do here is promote the guests, because many of them are friends or people that we admire, like Renee and Chuck Wendig, and we've had so many people in here that we admire, Jeff Allworth. It goes on and on and on. So Lauren, I kind of messed up and just went into our crazy stuff before I got to what is going on with you lately. I know that you have you're doing some video streams and there's a whole bunch you got going on. So I wanted to give you a time to talk about that, unless you don't want to.
So I do all the things because I'm very excited to talk to people and say yes to stuff and do projects. And I have like many things happening at once. So I have worked on getting better at how do I say this in like a sentence or two, and then see if people want to know more.
Right, all right. So explain yourself in like 2 sentences. One of those.
Okay.
Give me your yeah. Right.
Okay, my like mini summary, maybe it'll be brief, is I have been working the way that I've been working professionally is I am helping people and teams cultivate more understanding and inclusive communities using curiosity and play, because curiosity and play are like my jam. Like that is like who I am to my core. And so personally, I also am doing a lot of like fun, shiny projects because I'm like, ooh, that seems fun and is like new and like would provide me like a way to grow in a way that makes me a little uncomfortable, but that's useful for people. So I've been doing more writing. I was like, I'm not a writer since like elementary school, but I'm doing some writing because
If you're writing, you're a writer.
I'm a writer, everybody. If you'd like to pay me to write words, I have so many words. I'm used to saying them out loud, but I'll put them on paper or digitally for you.
Wow. Well, we have an editor here, so yeah, look at that.
I'm literally an expert, so I get to say, like, you are officially a writer because I said so.
I feel so validated. Thank you. I'm gonna like add it to resumes and LinkedIn. It's going everywhere official now in my bios.
All right, Lauren, yes. I feel you on. It sounds like a little bit. Maybe I'm wrong, but you tell me if I'm wrong. Sounds like a little bit imposter syndrome going on here. You're a writer, but you don't feel like you belong. Am I wrong?
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
It's actually one of the requirements of being a writer.
You have to have imposter syndrome. Yeah. Because also like the ways that I've been attempting I have some like writing buddies. One is David Stanley, who we've been doing like a he said she said sort of opinion vibe thing, because we're different demographics, different parts of the country, different like generations, so like our upbringings are super different. Like I'm West Coast, he's in Michigan. We're different parts of our life. And so that's been really interesting just because it's been like, I have to like think about this subject like reflectively, very specifically, which I don't do on a regular basis. And then I've also been doing some writing with Doug, our friend, and one of his friends of fiction, which I have not done since elementary school, like probably specifically, like flash fiction challenges, which is like almost like improv. And I love creativity with constraints. That's the best, but it's also very stressful. And so it's like the imposter syndrome thing of like, how am I supposed to do this? What is this? This is new and scary. And like, what is this chaos that you just provided me with? So I feel like that the level of imposter syndrome is good because it is, things are new, you're growing, you're not used to stuff yet, but I feel like that's good. And I don't actively be like, I want to be feel like imposter syndrome, but I do like the idea of like learning and I don't know stuff and growth and being curious about stuff. So I like to talk to people and like try things. And that's,
but I think that's a really great attitude. So I'm a writer and an editor. And as a writer, I've always really, like very similar to what you're saying, but as an editor, I really love working with people who are like, I know I'm not the best ever and I really want to learn, because the people who are overconfident, their writing isn't as good because they won't take feedback. They won't take opinions. They think they know it all. And it's like, well, okay, like you can put that comment wherever the hell you want, but it's not right just because you say so.
Okay. Can I change it and ask, do you, as an editor, do you have strong opinions on the Oxford comma? Is this a danger?
I have my preference. So like I prefer that it's used because I think you shouldn't have you shouldn't be too flexible with your rules, right? So sometimes you absolutely have to use it or the sentence doesn't make sense. So to me, it's like my blinker. I'm going to put it on every time I change lanes, even if no one's behind me. So I don't forget to do it when I need to. And that's how I feel about the Oxford comma.
Thank you. Which is like the comma between the and, right? Where it's just like blue, red, like blue, comma, red, comma, and yellow or whatever.
thing,
Like
yeah.
it's the extra
Because
comma.
sometimes it will
Yeah.
present like the two things are paired and the first thing isn't, and sometimes it won't. So you just throw that comma in there every time. You never have to worry about it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It's important. Clarity. JHG.
All right.
So, but apparently some people have strong opinions on it. I was like, I'm new to the thing. I'm newish to the. I'm a writer.
The other rule I operate by, which is funny, is that you can have too many commas, but it's rare to have too few. Like if you are not sure if the comma belongs there, just take it out. But with the Oxford comma, I say like just throw it in there just in case.
I use a lot of comma. I am a person of speaking words, so I have a lot of like run-on sentences with ands and commas and semicolons and dashes, which I'm figuring out.
It took me a really long time to unlearn that because I'm the same. Like I especially writing fiction, like I write a lot of first person, so it's supposed to be like someone is talking.
Yeah.
And unlearning, like, well, you can't just have a page long sentence because that's how someone would say it.
But
that's kind of rough.
Maybe. Yes, exactly. Commas matter.
Commas. That wasn't on the agenda.
It's
so just like the last time Renee was on, we had this in-depth conversation about nails that was fascinating and amazing, and we can get back to that, Renee, but I want to ask you the same question. What do you got going on? You have a whole you got a whole bunch going on too, and what's going on with you, or professionally, or I mean, like Lauren said, narrowing it down is not going to be easy, but we're here.
It will be, because this is the irony, is that I made some big life decisions recently where I was like, well, I'm going to pull back professionally a little bit because I have some personal goals I need to work on. And then a whole bunch of opportunities came up, right?
That's always how it works.
So tomorrow I'm going to be at LA Comic-Con doing a panel on pop culture and mysticism. And so we'll be talking about the ways that pop culture reflects mythologies, spiritualities, and things that we already believe in. So like an example would be like, horror movies operate in the realm of Catholicism, like so much, or, the Marvel movies that involve Thor, like those are pulling on Norse mythology, stuff like that. Sabrina the Teenage Witch, like that's witchcraft. And then, but also how your spirituality and your beliefs kind of also tie into the way that you as a creator might work. And so I'll be talking about my novel that I wrote with Andres Bergen called Black Sails Disco Inferno, because that's actually a retelling of Tristan and Isolde, the Arthurian, I can't say that word, Arthurian myth. And we just set it in the 70s with like disco and like organized crime. And it's really fun. It's been out for a few years, but we'll be talking about on the panel tomorrow. And Holland Phoenix is this amazing creator, cosplayer. Like her Instagram will blow your mind, and it's at Holland Phoenix. And she's the moderator, and she's pulling in like all these amazing people with amazing viewpoints. So it's going to be super fun. And then in the background, I'm working on a podcast called Does This Sex Podcast Make Me Look Fat? And we will be
I would like more of what?
Yeah, I used to write a column, Does This Sex Column Make My Ass Look Fat? And then we decided we had to update it. And now like big butts are in, so we couldn't do that, like whatever. So Does This Sex Podcast Make Me Look Fat? It'll be This Sex Podcast on our social medias and stuff. And it's basically sex ed for adults, but fun. So we'll be talking about, misconceptions about like, just for instance, like HPV, genital warts. HPV doesn't always cause genital warts, but that's what people know it as. Men can't get tested for it. And so there's this huge stigma around having it, but men can't get tested for it. They rarely show symptoms. Sometimes men who are sexually active receiving penetrative sex can be tested for it, but not like they can't be tested for it on their actual penis and genitals the way that women can. So this is where the Gardasil vaccine comes in, that they're trying to get people to give their kids. This is where a lot of cervical cancers come from. And 80% of sexually active adults have it and either don't know it or do, but a lot of them don't because men can't be tested for it. And so they go and they spread it all around. But then this guy who better chance than not has it, because 80% of sexually active adults have it, finds out that the girl he's like talking to on Tinder has it, and he's like, ew, I don't want an STD. It's like, you probably gave it to 20 women already. Like, it's so crazy.
So
And a lot of people
Wow.
don't know. So that's an episode we'll be doing.
Wait,
Wow.
And I
what
want
is
to bring on experts and talk. We'll talk about consent. We'll talk about dating. We'll talk about, you know, the history of the AIDS crisis and the things that are happening with that now that people still don't really know about. Like, there's medications you can take to prevent HIV. There's treatments that you can take that you can live as though you don't have HIV or AIDS at all. There's things you can do if you want to have a baby, you have AIDS, like they can like do stuff to your sperm to make it so that you can conceive a baby. If you're pregnant and you have AIDS, they can give you medication so the baby isn't born with that. People just don't know. So we were talking about things people don't know.
Wow.
That's going to be a ways down. We are still
Oh.
like in our research process and like finding our experts, but it's going to be really, I think it's going to be really fun. It's going to be really educational.
I'm very
Wow.
excited about this.
Yeah, we need to have you back on. Yeah, we're gonna have you. Yeah,
When
we
it's
gotta have you back
rolling.
on.
When it's
Yeah,
rolling. I'll come back. Yeah.
right. Excellent. Doug wants to know if your panel is going to be live streamed tomorrow.
I don't think so. No, because it is a ticketed event.
Gotcha.
So I think tickets are still available, but I'm not sure. I told Greg before we started today, I was going to provide a link, and the website was down. So because today's the first. Well, I think because today's the first day of the convention, I think it just kind of like everyone's trying to find their like floor maps and everything, and it just like so.
Right. Excellent. Well, I'm glad I asked because y'all got a whole lot of shit going on. It's great. Fun.
Constantly.
Well,
what about okay? Do you have things going on? Like, I want to, like, we got covered.
Yeah. What about you?
What's happening in your life? Anything?
Nothing.
No, I'm here every week. Everybody hears my show all the time. Y'all ain't here every week. I don't know really nothing, man. It's just nothing really that y'all haven't heard about. I haven't really updated. I still have my to answer your question, Lauren, since I'm being quizzed here. I never get quizzed here. I'm the quizzer.
Well, I could.
Yeah, well, you're right. You're right. I still have my I have a couple collab beers still in the works.
Oh yeah.
And I can't wait for that. The first one coming up is with Venture Brewing. We're still gonna hopefully do that in February. But I've been laying back since I've had my health scare. I still am really not fully out of the woods yet, if that makes sense. So I've really been still just quarantining and staying at home and being scared of people and not being around people as much as I can. Hopefully we can get back, hopefully once this next variant rolls through, I can start really getting back out. But I haven't been doing any of my beer stuff. It's pretty I wouldn't say it's unfortunate. It just made me ground in a different way and grind in a different way and look and I see things in a different angle. I homeschool my kids, so I'm around them all the time, but I find myself spending even more quality time with them as opposed to there's when you homeschool, you are with them all day and you're in there all day. So there's a time where you're just like nothing negative, but it's just like I just need them as teenagers. I kind of just need them to go and be teenagers. The problem is with the pandemic and it's just not a socially great time for teenagers like when we were coming up where our parents are basically just like for the most part go and we were like yeah bye and like you know what I mean, so it was a mutual thing where I'm almost not, I wouldn't say I'm getting worried, I'm just really more and more concerned about like them being social. I used to not give a shit, to be honest with you, because we put them in social things and we did social things and we were with our friends. And now since the pandemic started, I'm just starting to really feel bad for them now that we move into year 2, that they're just not having the experiences. And even if they were even out there, they wouldn't be having the same experiences as we are as teenagers. So I don't know. I've been actually, since my health scare, I've been, we've been spending more time together. We've been watching more movies together, playing video games. So it's been great. It's been fun. So I got really more personal stuff going on. And, than y'all, but I hope that the new year brings new things as far as the pandemic goes. Hopefully we can just get through this last variant and people wise up, because people not being wise is part of the reason why we're still here, in my personal opinion. And it's not really just here, it's across the board. When I look up these videos for us, man, you see this everywhere. You see it in Australia and Germany and France, people not wearing masks. I didn't even bring this up, but I don't want to spend too much time on it because we only have a limited amount of time with our wonderful guests. But I didn't even tell y'all about this one. But I just saw this right before. A 50-year-old man tried to pass off a silicone arm at a vaccine clinic so he could get his vaccine certificate, but not actually get vaccinated. So that's Italy. So we sit here and lament the craziness that's going on here in America, and it's going on everywhere. So, like, you know what I mean? If we have to stop it in England and Italy, if we're going to stop it here, and people are just not accepting it as much as we need to, and it's just a shame. And I didn't even try to get on this rant about the pandemic, but
Sorry.
I was gonna let y'all go, but if I let y'all go, let's do this. So what are y'all reading? I know that I know you both are reading something. So we'll start with Renee, because Renee was the one Renee, go.
So I just reread a book that I read years ago because my kid wanted to read it, and it's a little adult, so we'll read it together, right? And I just reread A Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay, and it was a whole new experience the second time, because I don't know if you're familiar with Paul's work. Like, his horror is very ambiguous. He kind of presents his scary story, and then he presents all the reasons why that's probably not what's happening, but then he presents some more reasons why, well, you can't really explain it all the way, can you? And this one in particular is told sorry, I lost my ear. It's told from the perspective of an adult who, at the time the story takes place, was 8 years old, and her teenage sister was maybe possessed, maybe she wasn't, but the family is trying to pay for her psychiatric care and all of this stuff, and the dad's been out of work for a year, so they let a reality TV show crew come in to film them while they're dealing with the possession. And so you have like all these crazy elements going on of like what is real, what is fake, what are the TV people doing, what effect is it having on all the different people in the family, particularly this little girl. And you get to the end and there's a lot of questions that aren't answered. There's a lot of twists. And I remember the first time I read it, I was visiting my mom. I read to the end and went to sleep. I woke up, was drinking my coffee like 2 hours, 3 hours after waking up. I go, oh shit, I think I get it. I think I know what happened, right? And then this time I'm like reading it with that in mind, because I'm telling my kid, like, you got to tell me what you think happened at the end, but you get to process it. And then I'm like, wait, I forgot about that. So I get to the end. I'm like, well, now I think something different happened. Pretty close to my first theory, but different now. So I feel like if I read it again in a couple of years, I'm going to be like, no, I have a new theory.
Wow. And
so it's really good.
And Stephen King said he was scared.
I read that tagline thing up there and I was like, this feels bad. I don't do scary well. And that feels like not the kind of book for me. But I do appreciate, I appreciate the, like, not exactly choose your own adventure, but just the, different opinion, being able to process it differently.
I think it makes it scarier.
Yeah, which I'll get, psychological thriller is, the worst.
My favorite horror novel actually is The Exorcist, and what they don't do in the movie that they do in the book is you get the internal monologue of the priest who doesn't believe that it's a possession because he's a psychiatrist and a priest, and it's him arguing with himself all the reasons why it can't possibly be happening, and then being faced with the evidence that it is and having to come around to it on his own. And that is what made that book terrifying to me. And Paul does this in all of his horror novels, where you're presented with all this information and you're just your wheels are constantly turning. And I asked him once, do you know what the truth is when you write the book? I'm not asking you to tell me. I'm just asking if you know.
Is there an answer?
Yeah, he was like, I'm not answering that. So
Oh, okay.
Ooh,
And
that's
he's
I totally love
mysterious.
that, though.
He's
I
very mysterious.
know that's
Like,
great.
I don't love scary, but I love the idea of people being presented with information and being able to make choices, because that's like what we do in life. But scary feels bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah.
I didn't feel terrified by it because like possession stories are really well trod, and he pulls that stuff, and that's part of the thing, right? As well, it's just like all of the movies and all of the TV shows, and that's part of why you're supposed to believe it's not real.
Mhm.
But my mom read it while I was up there for Thanksgiving, and she was like, "This is too scary for me." She read the whole thing, but she was still scared. So
Even the fact that you're like,
Right.
I read it, then I went to sleep. I was like, immediately after?
Right? No, it doesn't work that way. Right? I'm
it
with you,
takes a
Lauren.
lot to scare me, but Paul does scare me. Cabin at the End of the
Can't.
World is, in my opinion, a lot scarier, but it's also absolutely heartbreaking. And that book, I stayed up all night because I was too scared to stop reading and turn off the light.
Wow.
And then I got to the end, and I was like ugly crying about the end. So
Wow.
it was an emotional roller coaster. I can't recommend
Wow.
Paul's work enough,
Wow.
except for you,
Wow.
Lauren, because it
I know, I
was
was like,
too
it
much.
sounds amazing, except the scary part.
Right. Right.
I mean, I will read it if I can have constant sleepovers with someone who will like protect me from my brain.
Read
Like,
it in
there's
the
a noise.
daytime,
So-
What was like
and
in
then
the
watch Bugs
morning?
Bunny in the evening.
Yes, I have to stop by a certain, like in the afternoon,
Right.
and then it'll be like silly, nothing
Right.
sitcoms and cartoons, and
Right.
like happy things.
Right. And no, none of the shades open thing when it's dark out. I can't do that, especially after
Oh, no,
watching
me
something
either.
scary. That shit's
Mm-mm.
crazy. So, Lauren, what type of do you read? Since scary stuff is out, clearly.
Yeah, no, can't do that. It's unfortunate because I feel like there's a lot of good stuff out there, but I'm like, it will be a
Right.
problem for me.
Right.
So one of the things that I've been slowly reading, I'm actually part of a book club that's reading like chapters at a time, which is good for pacing, then chatting about it. But I'm reading Stamped, but the racism, anti-racism, and you, the like redone for younger audiences version, which Ibram X. Kendi made the first stamp from the beginning, and Jason Reynolds has several children's books, and like not imagined, but like rewrote Stamped for the lens of like younger audiences. And I kind of love the idea of that generally. I mean, I love learning things, right? Like I don't know everything, so let me learn some stuff. And I like the idea kind of always about like, what's your favorite children's book? Or like things for young adults, because just because it's not like, we don't all have to go read a thesis paper. Like if it like, it's a good foundation, it's still real information. And I actually really like the book. There's apparently a really great audio book version too. I am not listening to the audiobook because I tend to sometimes tune things out. So I'm not doing that, but Jason Reynolds reads it, and apparently it's like really amazing. And even the book is written in a way that feels like maybe Renee and I would do, where it's like, feels like someone's speaking. And so I feel like it's much easier to consume. Whereas when there's like heavy history and we're trying to read these hard stories, in like the grown-up versions, it's just like a lot. And the fact that it feels like someone's talking to you about it, it's much easier to like hold on to. So I'm doing it slowly, and so I don't have a lot to say about it yet, but it's super interesting and important. And yeah, I often, not always lean on, but I am not put off by this is geared for younger audiences thing.
Yeah, no.
Because it's great. Like everyone can learn something from this. Like there's no reason to discount something because it's not for grown-ups.
Right. I love it because, like I just said, I read books with my kid who's about to turn 12. Like we do it the same way you remember reading in the classroom, where like everyone reads a paragraph, but because it's just the two of us, like I'll read like 2 or 3 and I'm like, okay, it's your turn, and like they do like 1, but
ease into it.
But we did that with the Geared Towards Kids book of this book is anti-racist last year. And it was really great because it wasn't too much information. It wasn't like this kid is just like, what? It was really good, and it made us talk about it. and it made me have to think, because for me to talk to a 12-year-old about it, I have to think. So I'm probably gonna buy that book. So
yeah, it's a really great one too. And again, I think because sometimes the too much, like when it is a heavier, not just like heavy subject, but even just like informational, like Malcolm Gladwell writes like really, there's a lot of information in those books.
Yeah,
and sometimes when you read those, you're just like, I don't even know what to think anymore as an adult. And so sometimes having the like, this is geared towards younger audiences lens is helpful to be like, okay, I can still function while processing this information.
Yes.
Because it's a lot.
Yeah, because this book is anti-racist it didn't shy away from the difficult topics, but it presented them in a way that's very easy to digest and intellectually, like, so that you have space emotionally.
Think about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been good so far, and I enjoy it. And yeah, that's me.
Excellent. Now we go to this. So I think I'm the only one who has anything to talk about, but I really want to talk about these things that I saw. Number one was South Park post-COVID. It's called Post-COVID at South Park. So my give it a little bit of background. I was a huge South Park fan. The first, like, what are they in now? 20? I'm in like, the first, like, 7 years I was really a huge South Park fan. I became a father, and honestly, I couldn't watch this with my kids, so I kind of just fell off. Like on a lot of things you do when you have kids, you just fall off on some of those things. But I jumped in on I haven't seen South Park for years. So I jumped in on this one because I saw it was like an hour special. And I don't know if y'all know, South Park just made some big deal with Paramount that they're going to do all these, Paramount just paid them a whole lot of money, and they're going to do all these, specials and more shows and all that. This is one of the funniest things I've seen this year. They really, really take anti-masking and the whole pandemic and just really, really beat it around like they do everything. And it's really, really fun, especially during the pandemic. There's so many serious issues, whether it be social justice, the vaccine. Oh, I mean, there's too many damn issues. And those guys just take it. It's only an hour. It's on Paramount Plus. You don't have to watch South Park at all. You don't even have to even see one episode to really, really enjoy it. It's funny. It's post-COVID, so they really go 40 years. They go 40 years out, and they're like, they're like, oh, well, we just got rid of COVID, and it's 40 years later, so they all aged. And they got this. I don't want to ruin it, but they have Alexa involved and all kinds of different craziness. Alexa's like a real person. I don't want to ruin it, but it's not really ruining it, but Alexa's like a real person, and he's just like, Alexa argues back and forth, and it's really, really hilarious. If you want to laugh and you just want to, just check that out. It was amazing. Another one that just had me rolling in stitches this week was It's Always Sunny in Philly. They are on their 15th season. They are the longest running live comedy show ever. 15 years, forever.
Wow.
I watched up until was it 12? Season 12 or season 11? So I missed some seasons in there. So I saw it. I don't know. I just saw it on TV, and they're like, "Oh, it's the first night," and I'm like, "Oh man, it's time for me to get back into Sunny." So I watched it, and I'm telling you, y'all need to watch it. I don't care if you've ever seen one Sunny show. It is relevant. It is up to the point, and how they tackle and talk about the pandemic was just amazing. There's an appearance from Rudy Giuliani in it. I mean, they really took the events of what is going on and just like did it themselves. You don't have to watch Sunny. You have to see one show to jump in and just watch season 15, episode 1. They put out 2 episodes. I don't have Hulu. I have FXX. So I have to watch it week by week. But I think if you go on Hulu, the whole season's there. So I can't speak for the whole season.
Okay. I have a question about that.
They do it week by week sometimes too on Hulu.
Oh, also.
Okay.
So Hulu's subscription, is FX just like a cable login, or is that also a subscription-y thing?
FXX is like it's like FX2. So FX is, everybody knows FX. FX is the one that had the Shield and Sunny and a whole bunch of ones. And then there's FXX, which is another channel. So Sunny's on FXX. So I have that. I don't have Hulu. But I guess when they're done on FXX, they go to Hulu like the night after, and then it's stored there, and then you can see the whole season. I'm just letting y'all know, because sometimes you feel like sometimes on a show like that's been 15 years, you're like, oh man, I got to go back to, episode 1, season 1 to understand what's going on. Oh no. If you've been through this pandemic, you can enjoy it. Yeah. And I'm not one of these people that watches something twice, but I went back to watch this episode again that same night because it was just so, I don't want to make sure I missed anything. And I literally laughed out loud the whole thing. And I don't laugh out loud at these things. It was amazing. I cannot say enough. It was one of the best things I've watched all year. I'm telling y'all.
All year?
Yes. And it even has a trick ending. And at the ending, even the ending, when the credits were coming on, I was rolling because of just the trick ending that they had. Like, they make you think something the whole time, and then at the end, they just drop this bomb that it's something else, and it's just fucking fantastic. I can't say enough. I love it. Y'all need to check this out. Check it out. Damn it. So, anywho,
I do love a good satire. Like,
yes, and it's it's 20 minutes. Are you on Hulu?
Not myself. No.
Okay. But you can get on Hulu is what it sounds like.
Make some friends. We'll figure it out.
Right. So that's one that you should check out. Trust me. And hit me back. I'm telling you, I think it's the best show that I've ever seen from them, actually. It really is really, really killer. Just can't say enough. It is. I like the South Park episode, that show, but that episode 1 just blew it away. It was just, again, can't say enough. So cheers to that. It's hot. I'm telling you, I don't rant and rave. Y'all seen the stream a gazillion times.
I'm like shocked. I'm like, really, I'm like, oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess
I do not rant and rave about something like this much.
Like, it's going on my to-do list now at this point because Greg has talked about it so aggressively.
Do it tonight. Do it tonight. You will be amazed how funny it is and how fun it is.
Put a reminder in my phone. Yeah.
It's fun.
After a panel, this is how you'll recoup.
Absolutely. Yeah. And if you've never seen Sunny, it's a great introduction to what they do and who they are. It's kind of I know people are going to get on me, but I've seen one Seinfeld episode. So I never really gotten to Seinfeld, but I kind of okay. Sunny kind of has that feel where like some episodes are just about nothing and they just like, you know what I mean? They just riff on something. But this is Seinfeld didn't rip off of like pop culture events though, did they? They didn't like.
No, not really. I mean, something. If you've seen one episode of Seinfeld, you've seen them all. I have
okay. So this is different.
We have a group chat, and we don't. None of us like Seinfeld, but we will occasionally be like, "This is like a Seinfeld episode," and we can like write a whole scene.
Right.
If I put it in front of you, you'd be like, "Wait, was this a real episode of Seinfeld?" So
right.
No, it's not the same as Sunny is very different.
Right.
I
never talk about shows like this.
Fan of Sunny, but I've seen like a couple seasons. I think
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed it, but I have a little one at home, and so it's like
I'm even thinking about showing. I'm thinking about showing my kids this weekend. 17 and 15 they are, and the reason is because they'll get all the jokes because of the pandemic. They just hit everything. Masks. They hit everything. And it's fucking amazing.
I am intrigued.
Fantastic. So, with that being said, we are going to wrap soon because we are. And no, we're not. Renee, you have
one more thing.
You have at least 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, with that being said, let's lead Renee in with this.
Thoughts about that flag being flown.
You bet. So, as some of you may not be aware...
And just one point.
Yes, Mr. Walker?
I've heard enough, I'll put my hand up.
Okay.
Just like the mayor does with
Okay.
I'm not waving.
But guess what? You don't get to tell me when I can stop speaking.
Well, I'm going to.
I'm an elected official. You can't do that.
Can I do that, Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Walker, if she's given the floor, I'm going to give her the 5 minutes just like everyone else,
Okay,
and I
5
will
minutes.
let you finish up your 5 minutes.
And you'll start the clock.
Clock is running as
Please,
soon as...
please
I don't
go
need
ahead.
5 minutes.
Please go ahead.
So, Mr. Walker, if you're not aware, and I think a lot of people in this room are not aware and have come here just because this is a gay issue, I am proudly the first openly elected lesbian in North Dakota. So that is why I'm not paying any heed to your crap. We the people, I'm the people. I live in Minot. I have a taxpayer. I am a person. I get to see myself represented on that flagpole just as much as the people who got the Juneteenth flag last month, as much as the POW MIAs will get later this month. Every single person is entitled to see themselves represented. We are not some group of people who live in San Francisco or Seattle. We are here. We are your elected officials. We are your brothers. We are your sisters. And don't tell me you're not hatred and anger. That's all I feel. I've had to listen to it for days now, as is the mayor and many of my colleagues. It is unacceptable. This city is big enough for all of us. Me having a flag flying doesn't take away anything from your rights and freedoms. But you know what it does for me? It shows me I live in a city that appreciates and embraces me and the people of my community, and that I can live here and feel safe. That's what it does. I'm sorry it doesn't make you feel comfortable, but we're here, we're queer, and we're not going away.
Thank you.
One thing to say to the
How can
council
we sit back at the city and let these people run you like this? This is just shameful.
Is-
I believe it, I'm sorry. This is wrong. She butts in and says she's your
Ah.
agenda. This is wrong. Your agenda.
it shouldn't matter who I love. For if you elect me as your city council member, it shouldn't matter. You're electing me because I'm competent and I will represent your viewpoints. Well,
So I've seen the first part of that video before, and she's such a fucking badass. I love her.
Love it.
First of all, but also makes me emotional because Jesus, I just hate that those people like that are like, oh, I'm gonna raise my hand when I've had it. Well, I'm leaving because you're pushing an agenda. Like you don't push an agenda when you have that attitude. But that's, thank you, Greg. That was a great video to lead into what I want to talk about, because that's exactly what I want to talk about. Is talk about gay cowboys. Greg and I were going off about this a couple weeks ago. There's Lil Nas X who, like, you know, he came onto the scene. It's so crazy to me. I'll say this about Lil Nas. What's crazy to me is that country was like, we're ready to accept another black guy. We haven't had Darius Rucker for a long time. So we're going to accept this other black guy, and we're going to let this other black guy bring some hip hop in. And then it came out that he was gay, and they're like, no, that's too many new things. Can't have that many new things. We were going to be cool about the one thing so that people couldn't say we were bigots, but you screwed it up by being too many things. But I love that his response was like, okay, well, you're going to push me out because I'm gay. I'm going to be so gay. And I'm not that up to date on his music. Like, I've seen the Montero video, like everybody. And I've heard Old Town Road, and I've heard some of his newer songs. But what I love about Lil Nas is, well, one, look at that outfit. Like, he's got his gay leather daddy. He's got his country
so
look.
gay.
He's got,
There's like
everything.
studs
He's
and
just
rivet.
like,
There's like a lot happening. Love it.
I adore it. And he's such a troll, and it's always funny. And I adore
troll.
him for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
You nailed it.
do, and
you
I
nailed
think
it. Right.
Country needed that so bad, because I was just actually, so the other guy I want to talk about is Orville Peck, who I'm a huge fan of musically, but he's kind of doing something similar. It's less it's less visually in your face, although he's got some quirks in his style too. Like, he always wears a mask, and he wears like the 70s style Western stuff with lots of glitter and rhinestones and like hats with paintings on the brim and stuff. But like, he's not wearing like bondage gear. Although maybe someday he will, and that'll be fun. But his music is straight up very, for the most part, very old fashioned country. Some of it's mixing in other genres and stuff, which I love, but it's like his newest single is about a truck driver singing a love song, and he's singing to another male truck driver. So it's like the countryest country song you could think of, but it's two gay men, and I think it's really amazing. And I was at a concert of his in that brief minute where we thought it would be okay to go to travel and like do stuff because we got vaccinated and everything's calming down. I went out like that weekend and then had to come back and be like, maybe that was a bad idea. But he does an event called the Rodeo every year, and it's like his big concert of the year, and John Waters hosted. So you've got a country concert, but like John Waters, the Pope of trash, whatever. He hosted it, and he had this singer called, oh my God, I'm going to forget her name. Yola, who's this, I mean, she's like her music is like full on diva, like from the gut, like just mind blowing, beautiful Black woman with a great band. Like, again, not something you expect to see at a country concert. The other opener was like full on country, and he comes out and he's kind of like a mix of these two things, right? And while I was there, you see people like dressed like leather daddies. You see like proud trans people walking around. You see like men in their little short shorts. You see people dressed like good old boys who just like came over after a hard day's work on the farm. Like, it was the craziest people watching I've ever seen. And part of why it's so important is like that video, right? Because like he just is gay. Like he's not out there like Lil Nas jokes about the gay agenda, which I find hysterical. And I again think that he is so needed. But the other side you have is like everyone's always asking Orville Peck about like his gay agenda. And he's like, my agenda is that like I want to sing country music and I'm gay. And that's it. Like I'm just gay. So I'm going to sing about gay stuff because what else would I write? I'm not going to write a love song about a lady because that's foreign to me. And my favorite iteration of this, and hopefully I don't get Brothers Booze kicked off Facebook. We debated this in the pre-show, but he's actually in the winter edition of Playboy. And I thought it was really crazy because country has an issue with him. And in this interview, he talks about there's still being a lot of issues in country music for gay artists. There was like very recently a woman artist who kind of dropped from the charts as soon as it came out that she was singing about kissing girls. I don't even know if she is actually gay or bi. It's just like it was in the song and people freaked out, which this is what happened to Melissa Etheridge, right? Like same exact thing. And we see it happen over and over, and he's talking about it in here, and he actually says he doesn't think that it's a homophobia issue as much as a chauvinism issue, which I find interesting because it's like about how men should act and about how women should act, and women should not kiss girls and men should not kiss men. Like, I didn't get to read the whole interview before I came on, so I'm not going to speak for him, but I think it's really interesting. And I think it's interesting that there is an element of country music fandom that is embracing it, and it's not just the queer people. It's like he has a music video that's full of drag queens and trans women, and it's dedicated to all of the queer people that are on the radio circuit, because actually there's a lot of queer people on the radio circuit, but we just all pretend like it didn't happen. And I'm like, I remember Brokeback Mountain came out, and like it was just a joke. Like, this is a beautiful, heartbreaking movie, and the book it's based on is as well, but it was a joke. Gay cowboys, ha ha ha, it's so funny. Well, Willie Nelson was singing about gay cowboys like decades ago. They've always been there. And probably a lot of guys get out there and they're lonely and out in the middle of nowhere herding cattle, and they suddenly realize that they might be gay, because they're away from the influence of whatever culture they were in at the time. So it's really like interesting to me to see this representation coming into a genre of music that is like perhaps the most resistant to it. And I love seeing this like weird mirroring of like Lil Nas X is like, well, I'm just going to do hip hop now, but I'm still wearing my cowboy hat, and I am going to like everything I say is like carefully calculated to make the people who ousted me from country feel uncomfortable. And Orville Peck, who is very flashy and loud dresser, but very traditionalist with country music. So I'm just going to sing country songs, but they're going to be about men who love men, and they're going to be about, you know, trans women, and they're going to be about, you know, the things in my life because I happen to be a gay man, and it's just wild, and it's so needed. If we could break country, like we could do anything.
Ooh, that's a great kind of like barometer, because I feel like I could be wrong. If anybody in the comments like knows, correct me. But I feel like what originally happened was like Lil Nas X did his Old Town Road, right? And he did it, and country radio like didn't want to play it because like this is not country. And then I believe that Billy Ray Cyrus was like, no, we're gonna make this country. And then he did the like he like featured on it, and then it got played on country. So it's like, oh, we're gonna like bring in the country. And apparently the country was like, nope, too much. But like it took more than just like, oh, we're gonna accept, like it took more to accept him into it.
Yes. But and like I said, but it was like once that third element came in, they're like, we're done. We're done.
It's too much.
And that's crazy to me because I feel like country has actually been a very fluid genre for a long time. But there's just these places that it won't go.
There's like a very conservative vibe in some country songs.
I would say in modern country, so much.
Yeah, like it's been fluid in the
Like,
sense
so
of like
much.
and like genres and like who sings and like people doing like collaborations and stuff like that. I feel like that's super real. But in its content themes, it's got a real like, nope, this is what it's about. Right? There's the joke of like, you get your wife back, you get your kids back, you get all the things back. Right? Because I'm
what
so
I think is
brokenhearted.
crazy is like, so, you know, country's always had that element. It always has. But it used to have a lot of different elements that played more heavily in mainstream perception of country. You know, like you could sing about a lot of different stuff and still make the charts. Like it went from being very conservative, like all the ladies had to dress a certain way and smile, and then like people like Loretta Lynn came in and they're like, no, I'm literally going to sing about pulling a girl by the hair of her head and kicking her ass because she's talking shit about me. And everyone was like, okay. Like, you know, and then we had outlaw country, and we had like people singing about real shit like crime and drugs and all these things that really, you know, they affect people no matter what kind of music they listen to. And then like we had this weird shift, like I think it started before 9/11, but it really took off post 9/11, where it was just like, yeah, like we're the backbone of America. And it's like, well, you're not. Like everybody is.
Right.
So it's interesting to see the pushback happening the way it is now, where you have these two people who are so famous right now and seeing so much success, and they're getting people who wouldn't normally listen to country to listen to country. So they're valuable to country music, but country music still doesn't quite know what to do with them. Like Orville Peck did a duet with Shania Twain. Like that's like some old, you know, that's about as old school as you could get without pulling people out of retirement. So it's really interesting to watch it play out. Like I'd love to see him do a duet with Dolly, but you know, she's busy.
Dolly is just fantastic. But real quick, Renee, I just want to add my 2 cents to this. It sounds like, you know, your anecdotal evidence is telling us that like the people who listen to country are cool with generally these guys, it seems like, because again, you're telling me when I was visualizing what you're talking about going to that concert, I just saw a big swath of America there. I saw all kinds of different people going in and out, but the industry and the people who control that stuff are going to come later than it seems like the people on the ground listening. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I kind of heard.
I think it's like 50-50. I think there's a large portion of people who are really ready for it and are cool with it as long, or just cool with it as long as it sounds good. Like, you know, I can be that way about a lot of music. There's a lot of music I listen to that are way too close attention to the lyrics. I'm like, oh, but it sounds really good, you know.
It's so catchy.
But I do think that there is a strong element of people who are hardcore country fans and have been for decades who are not ready for it. And like when someone's song drops from the charts, that's not the record company, that's the listeners responding. So it's kind of weird. Like it's a very, I'd say it's very chaotic right now. Like it's a time where it's in flux, but it seems to be picking up more speed than it did in time. Like when Melissa Etheridge was pushed out of country, everybody just kind of went, oh, we don't care. And now it's like Lil Nas gets pushed out of country, and everybody outside of country is like, we love you, like you're so great, you're so funny, and you're like, I love your outfits. And Orville Peck is getting to stay in, even if he's in this weird flexible place, you know, like it could go either way for him, but right now I think he's selling a few too many records for them to really want to push too hard.
My last comment about Lil Nas X. This is the one artist in this house that everybody loves. And I love him. His music is fine, and I like a lot of his songs. Actually, his shit grew on me because when I first heard him, I love Old Town Road, but the rest I was like, I like his stuff. I really do. But my sons really love him. And I just love having the conversation about him because of his gayness and how gay he is and how he loves it. And I just love that modeling in my house. I don't know if my kids are gay or not. I don't care. But I want them to know that I love Lil Nas X because he's gay, because of who he is. That's why I love Lil Nas X. And I love that he's a troll. You said the word troll. You were 1,000% correct. Like he goes
I think
out
I stole
there.
that from you to give you credit.
Oh, okay. He's a troll, and we love. That's part of what we love about it in our family. And and I don't know. Lil Nas X keeps me young. I'm old, and I think by liking him, I'm like young again. And I like something that my kids like because me and my kids kind of diverge when it comes to music a little bit. Not much, but a little. But they love Lil Nas X, and I just want them to know that as a family, we are behind him because he's gay. Not despite the fact that he's gay, because. And I want that modeling for them because, again, gay or not, I want them to be open to gay people because why the fuck not? And so I want them to know that I have no issue with it. The lady has no issue with it. And whatever, fellas. So whatever y'all do, we don't care. But, you know, there's one thing about, you know, saying, oh yeah, we like gay people and all that, but there's another thing about, you know, supporting them and all that, and any kind of, I don't know if you know the dust up with Da Baby and Lil Nas X, but Da Baby's another rap. Yeah, Da Baby's another rapper, and he just says he's just a homophobic asshole basically, and it just gives us a good subject matter to talk about homophobia, why I don't like it, and why I don't like the baby because he's a fucking asshole. And that's just what I say to my kids and why. And then we talk about it. And my kids know the baby and all that. And then I don't know if you know this, Lauren, like the baby came out and said some homophobic things and all this. And why, you know, the whole Lil Nas X is turning people gay kind of thing. You can't turn people gay. Anyway, but it's a
and
good
also,
time.
if that's what we believe, then like most hip-hop music videos and a lot of the lyrical content we shouldn't be letting kids listen to because they sing about sex. Like all my favorite rappers sing about sex.
Right.
Believe Cardi B did not influence me to get like 12-inch long nails and have tons of sex. Like I still am me, even though I love Cardi B.
Right. Does Cardi B enable you to have WAP? But we need to stop it right there. We need to stop it right there. But last thing before we roll here. The funny thing about Cardi B is that my kid, we talked about it, and literally at the dinner table, I said what WAP means, and everybody at the dinner table was like, oh, and my kids didn't even know, and like I'm like, what? You didn't know that meant WAP? And they were like, oh, and my lady looks at me like, and I'm like,
that video. I can find it and send it to you, right? Because there's a video of like back when they were still together, like Kim Kardashian and Kanye are out with their baby, and the baby, I don't know which one it is because I don't know like how old the video is.
When they got like 3 or 4 or something. Yeah.
So she picks up a stick and she's like showing it, and Kanye's like being like really cute about it, and he's like, oh yeah, like you got a stick. Is it a magic stick? And he says magic stick like 3 times, and Kim's like, don't say that. And he's like, what? And she's like, don't you know what a magic stick is? And he's like, no. And she's like, don't say that. And then she tells him, and he's like, what? Like,
So even Kanye didn't get it. Wow, he's supposed to. He's right. He's in this. He's all that. He's oh man. So, anywho, it's been fantastic, y'all. We have to go. We're gonna cut this short. Short. It's 1 hour and 20 minutes. That's short for Doug and I guess. But Renee, any last comments before you go?
go support your local gay cowboy.
your local gay cowboy.
You can support Lil Nas X and you can support Orville Peck. But
Yes.
also, I bet you that if you live anywhere where there's like any kind of country scene, there's a drag scene, there's whatever. There's probably some gay country people around you, and you should like go give them money too.
Follow Lil Nas X on Twitter. Trust me on that one. That's where he does most of his trolling, and it's fantastic. Lauren, any last words?
The only thing that I'll say is like just because I had a conversation today about this, like y'all keep using the word troll, which I feel like is real, but also there's like troll, which can mean like instigator, like trolling version. But I had a conversation today with a couple people, my friends Jeff and Maddie, and we were talking about useful mischief, which is like the good version of trolling.
Yes.
And like
that's what he is.
They are good useful mischief troll versions, and like you can do it too, and just be
mischief
like, be your USU and just like cause a little mischief for good.
Yes. Good trouble too. That's another way to say it too.
Good trouble.
That's Lil Nas X. It's good trouble. But it is trolling though, because he knows he's
what you're doing. You know what you're doing.
But it's very intentional. Right. It's good trouble. And
I think Orville Peck knows what he's doing too, but he pretends he doesn't. He's just like, oh, I'm just thinking about gay truck drivers.
Right. He's more,
that's the angle. It's like don't mind me.
Right. He's more playing that he's naive to it or whatever. He's like, hey, this is me. Where Lil Nas X is like, nah, man. No, Lil Nas X is way more front, and that's why I call him a troll. But I do it, Lauren, like you said. It's the affectionate troll. It's not
it's from
annoying.
Here. Yes,
right. It's from here, and it's real.
Like the bejeweled troll dolls with the hair. It's like those kinds of trolls.
Right. I mean, that whole last thing, that whole thing with the blood in the sneakers is. I don't know if you know about that Lil Nas X.
Satanic sneakers.
Yeah, satanic sneakers. Now, see, that's exactly the thing why I called him. That's when I started calling him a troll, because it's clear that he's going after religious people and he's trying to incite some kind of emotion out of them. It's good because they are a lot of the homophobia that I'm sure he feels. So then that was his shot back at them.
Discomfort causes progress.
Right. So then that's why I'm like, man, you out here trolling. And I like it. Don't get me wrong. It's good. But like, you are out here trolling. Let's not front. So on that note, thanks, ladies. I know Doug thanks you. And I thank you. And hopefully this is a preview for something that might be coming along here.